to a little bit of conference realignment.
What
the heck is going on?
It's a great question, man. It's an ever-changing landscape, right? All these different conferences want to get their hands in different pots, right? You have the Big Ten is already in 4 time zones. The ACC's, kind of on the brink of, some people would say, self-destructing. I would argue against that, but they do have the chance that Florida State, perhaps Clemson, are going to leave. How can they fix that? How can they save themselves? They got weird and went out and added Cal and Stanford. Who else did they add? SMU, right? So now the new thing, and honestly, I kind of sat on the information when I originally heard it because it sounded so crazy and so far-fetched that, Utah, who will be a Big 12 member as of like August this year, is considering a jump to the ACC, and you're like, what the hell? Like, you guys have made it. Like, what are you doing? Why would you move? I know, make it make sense. Like, you're out there, right? You have BYU and Utah already. Texas, not that far. Arizona, not that far. Why would you travel all the way to the East Coast, fly all the way to the East Coast to play football, to play any sporting event? And the answer is clearly money, right? I mean, I do think the Big 12 technically pays out more today, but I don't know that is going to continually grow, right? So I think if the Big 12's pot is what it is until it's renegotiated, and at that point, then obviously it could be expanded upon. But if you were to add to the Big 12 today, your number is probably a little bit less than what the ACC's pot would be. So there is some financial change and benefit there, but also adding, let's see, Cal and Stanford puts them in the West. Yes. So they're in all 4 time zone if Utah goes to ACC, because Utah is going to be the Mountain West, or the Mountain Daylight. SMU is Central, and then Cal Stanford's Pacific. And obviously they're on the Eastern Coast there. So it makes sense for ACC.
TJ, I don't know where your information was coming from. Dick Weiss at Hoops Weiss on the X, who is a contributor for the New York Daily News. This tweet came out, blew up, got over 1 million views on X. Speculation is circulating about potential shifts in college sports conferences. There is discussion about Utah possibly moving to the ACC despite its recent move to the Big 12, with some suggesting the ACC might be a better fit due to its ESPN network agreement and potential for increased TV revenue. However, skepticism exists regarding the stability and attractiveness of the ACC compared to the Big 12. So exactly what you're talking about, TJ. It sounds like the ACC's deal, the ceiling is higher for added revenue there, whereas it sounds like the Big 12 is kind of locked in at what they're going to make. And that's what's enticing Utah. The question just remains what you mentioned is Clemson, Florida State. What is the ACC going to look like if this contractual agreement's blown up?
Yeah, and it's super interesting.
No more.
Well, that's the thing. For the grant of rights to go away, you have to have, I think it's a majority of the conference to agree to that. And let's think of it from a grand scheme of things. We'll say Florida State, Clemson, they could probably get somewhere. I've heard people talk about NC State left and right due to academics, due to the fact that they are a moderately successful football, basketball program type of situation, that combo. Let's assume that those 3 go somewhere. Who's the 4th? It's some form of NC State or North Carolina and Duke. Can you see those 2 ever breaking apart? Maybe it's Virginia or Virginia Tech, whatever. You get to a point where it just doesn't make sense for these teams to leave the ACC because they're going to potentially lose money. They have nowhere to go. Who's going to take them? Like who? The Big Ten or the SEC are the only conferences are going to give them more money. Who's taking them? Where are they going to go? You're going to get to this point where the SEC is like, hey, we got a lot going on, or the SEC, we've got a lot going on. Like, it doesn't make sense for us to take in Virginia Tech right now. And it's going to put everybody in a hard place. And I just can't see the majority of the teams wanting to break the grant of rights. This truly only benefits the Clemsons, the Florida States, some combination of Virginia, NC State, and Virginia Tech. And there's not 7 spots to go around, essentially. So, I'll tell you one person or one team that benefits from all of this, and that's the Memphis Tigers. Because if Utah leaves the Big 12, they're going to have an open spot.
Spots are open. And Timothy, that's what I was going to ask you. When NCAA Football 25 comes out and they have conference realignment as an option in gameplay, what conference are you immediately putting Memphis in?
Trey likes to get on to me about this because I've said it for a while now.
He's the biggest ACC homer in the world.
No, I'm tired of being the Big 12's booty call. They always like to just dangle the carrot in front of us and we come out crawling after it. And then they're like, they just pull back every time. I'm tired of it, dude. I'm tired of it. I don't want to do it anymore. I want to go to the ACC. I think it makes sense anyhow. I think you would partner us with Tulane. You'd partner, we go back with SMU. I could see Southern Florida. I could see them, South Florida, excuse me. I could see them going. I don't know where Southern Florida came from, dude.
The Southern Florida fighting Southern Florida.
50% beer here. No, South Florida. I could see us keeping that paired up, moving to the ACC. I'm assuming it's going to be turning into this race of 20 teams. Who's the Big 12 going to add, right? Any type of change they have, it's the same teams. It's San Diego State, it's Memphis, it's Boise State. Utah State could kind of be the wild card in there if you're really trying to just package something in the Mountain Daylight Time.
TJ throwing Utah State around.
Yeah, I'm naming a random team that's in the Utah area, right? They're absolute dog water. See the bowl game 2 years ago when we smoked them.
Well, regardless, TJ, based on the vote that occurred, we need to be in a Power 5 conference no matter what, because it has been officially ruled that universities may pay upwards of $20 million a year to their athletes. And we're just not going to be able to do that. So we need to get a Power 5 conference so that we have that revenue to be able to share amongst athletes.
Yeah, and I think another
Jeff has got people scared out of their freaking britches. We're going to be the minor league, the death of Memphis athletics with this, TJ.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a wild thing to read. Yeah, I don't know, but Memphis is in a place now where if the Big 12 expands, if the ACC expands, it's a race to grab teams like a Memphis, like a Boise, like a UConn even, right? They're in a good place. They're clearly in the top grouping of teams. I just want to stop being in the top grouping of teams, and I want to be one of the teams. I want to be the
team. Let me ask you this. We've heard rumblings, rumors that we're kind of playing both sides. We're talking to the ACC. We're still flirting with the Big 12. Do you think that in any way puts us at a disadvantage where we end up getting left out again because we're not necessarily committing to one or the other? We're kind of trying to play both of them, thinking that we're leaving our options open, and in the end, that comes back and bites us.
No, why should it? You benefit the conference, right?
You don't think they're like two girls and like, hey, we're dating the same guy? Let's get out of here.
I think it benefits the conference, right? If you pass on Memphis, let's say it's the ACC, they're going to add 4 teams. They add Tulane, South Florida, FAU. I'm trying to make up teams at this point. I don't think UConn's
East Carolina. Just go.
East Carolina. Yeah, we'll take off UConn because I don't think that's going to happen. But are they going to pick FAU over Memphis because Memphis is talking to the Big 12? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are your options here, really? So I think Memphis is in a place.
What if both of them just are like, hey, they're flirting with the both of us. They're not committed to either one of us. We're passing.
It's a smart business decision to talk to both conferences. Like, why would you not? And it's not like you're putting all your chips in the basket. You're just saying, hey, we're listening. You know, we'll hear you out. Like, you are the commodity in this example, right? They're talking to you about joining the conference. You benefit them. Obviously, you joining them benefits yourself as well. It's a mutual agreement type of situation, but more so less. I mean, it's only a plus for you to join either conference, right? So I think it's smart if Memphis is talking to both sides and really kind of playing the fence. I don't think they'll get left out by any means.
All right.